Hi, in this video we'll be showing you step by step how to get started with Premiere Pro. So let's just jump right into it. This is what we see when we open up Premiere Pro. I've created a new project here, so I'm just going to click on it. If you haven't created a project file yet, you just click on where it says New Project in the top left-hand side. Before we start importing footage, we'll need to create a new sequence. So we'll just right-click here, hit New Sequence, and then we just want to make sure we have the right settings. In this case, it'll be 1080p, 30 frames per second. We'll name our sequence, and then we just want to confirm that we do have the correct settings before importing our footage. Which we do, so now we can right-click on the project panel and hit Import to find our footage. These are all of the panels that you'll be working with in Premiere Pro. The one we want to focus on right now is the project panel. This is where you'll import and organize all of your media files for your project. You can create folders to keep your files organized, and you can also use the search function to quickly find a specific file. You should definitely get into the habit of creating folders for your footage so you can easily find it. Once the footage is imported, we can drag and drop it into our timeline. You might get this message. In this case, we can just keep the sequence settings the same. And now you've successfully placed your first clip into your timeline. Next, let's talk about the timeline panel. This is where you'll actually edit your videos. You can add clips, audio, and different effects to your project in this panel. You can use the tools on the left-hand side to help you. For example, we're going to use the razor tool to cut the clip that we dragged into our timeline. Then we can click the selection tool to select the clip that we no longer want after the cut, and hit delete on our keyboard. You can also trim the clip by grabbing either ends of it in the project timeline and dragging it like this. There are also other great tools to use on this left-hand side, including the type tool. After you click it, you can just click inside the composition panel and start typing. Once you're done, you can edit the text properties like the color or font in the effects control section of Premiere Pro. I'm going to change both the color and font of this text right now. And this is what we're left with. So next, let's talk about adding color to your footage. The color panel is where you can make these adjustments to the color grading of your video. You can use basic color correction tools to adjust the exposure, color balance, vibrance, and saturation of the video, just like I'm doing here. You can also even use Premiere Pro presets if you'd like to get a specific look to your video. You can add them in the section that says Input LUT. LUT stands for lookup table. It processes a color value and outputs a corresponding value. You can adjust it in the effects controls as well if you want to change the strength on the preset. I also have some third-party LUTs that I've downloaded previously for Premiere Pro. You can find them in the effects panel under Lumetri presets. Once you find them, you can just drag and drop them on the clip that you want it to be applied to, and then you'll notice the change immediately. Next, let's discuss adding effects to your video. So the effects panel is where you can apply various visual and audio effects to your clips. You can search for specific effects, or you can browse through various categories to find something that suits your needs. For example, this clip here is really shaky because it was filmed without a tripod, but there's an effect in Premiere Pro that allows you to fix this. It's called the warp stabilizer effect. So we will just find it and then drag and drop it onto our clip. And then we'll set the option to no movement in the effects controls. And then Premiere Pro will just need to analyze the clip to make these changes. And now, as you can see here, the video has no motion. Another really useful effect is the color key. So let's say you shoot something with a green screen in the background. This could be a video of yourself or an object in front of a green screen, or really any video with a solid color in it. You can use the color key to knock out that specific color of the video. Just place it on the clip that you want to use it on, navigate to the effects controls, click on the eyedropper tool to select the color that you want, and then adjust the color tolerance to your liking. The same goes for the edge tolerance and the edge feather. Sometimes the color key requires some playing around to get it perfect, but this is the final effect that we have. Then you can place that green screen footage on top of whatever other footage you'd like. I'm going to double click this green screen footage and just drag it onto a different area of the composition panel. And then I'm also going to add a Gaussian blur to the bottom footage layer, just so it's not the main focus. And now we have this cool effect that you can use as, let's say, a video intro or a video outro. I definitely recommend this technique when you want to film yourself in front of a green screen. Just make sure the lighting in your video is good as to not cast shadows on your subject. That'll make it difficult for the software to remove the desired color. These other effects in Premiere Pro are definitely worth checking out for yourself and playing around with as well. Lastly, the audio panel is where you can make adjustments to the audio in your project. So you can use basic audio tools to adjust the volume and gain of your video clips. You can edit the audio in your clips by dragging the audio section down slightly and adjusting it here. You can also right-click the audio clip, hit Audio Gain, and then manually adjust it here. Or you can use more advanced tools to remove noise or add effects to your audio. In this case, I'm going to use the denoise and dehummer tools. The denoise tool will decrease the background noise, and the dehummer tool, like the name implies, will decrease any humming frequencies coming from the audio. So now I'll show you the clip before the noise effects are added and after they're added. At this point, after you're done editing your video, the only thing left to do is export your project. The export panel is where you'll go to render and export your finished video. You can choose from a variety of preset output formats, or you can customize the settings to create a custom export. And that concludes this tutorial. Be sure to subscribe for more Adobe tutorials. Until then, happy editing.